Chef Marcus Julian. I'm a chef on a mission. Today's mission is truth in menu, I guess. I don't want to call it food fraud, but I just want to share an experience with you that Jamie and I had when we were traveling. We just got back from Reno, Lake Tahoe, went down into El Dorado County, into wine country, got near Sacramento, and just had a fabulous time out west. We went to this place. I'm not going to mention any names. Very, very well-known chef in this city, in this bigger city. Very well-known chef, multiple restaurants. We went to his his commissary kitchen, where he does baking and he butchers his meats, and it sends out to all of his other restaurants. Some multi-restaurant owners, restaurant owners that own multiple restaurants will have this. A good friend of mine in New York City has this, where he bakes for all 12 or 15 of his restaurants, and they do catering there, and they do a lot of the bigger prep there, and they send it out to the restaurant. So it's not uncommon to have this happen with chefs, restaurateurs that own multiple locations or multiple themed restaurants. So we went there, and Jamie, it was beautiful upstairs, right?
It was beautiful.
Magnificent. And you walked around, and this guy is big on farm to table. He kept mentioning Alice Waters. Alice Waters is a pioneer of farm to table. She works, she knows where her food comes from.
That's how he started.
That's how he started, because Alice Waters inspired her. That was his beginning of his story. And it was just great. And you're like, oh wow, this guy knows where all of his food comes from. And you walk up in his commissary kitchen, and you can buy things. So you can buy beer, you can buy wine, you can buy his homemade salamis, you can buy prosciutto from Italy. And as you're walking around, you see all these organic products: coconut oil, organic eggs, organic oats, organic pancake mix. All these organic items fill this commissary, and you're like, wow, this is great. Here's a guy who's talking about knowing where his food comes from. He works with some small farms, some farmers in the area, and look at all this. It's like walking into a health food store. It's like wonderful. Well, we got a tour of the kitchen. I gotta tell you, the kitchen did not have one single thing that was upstairs, besides the meats, okay, because they're butchering the meats downstairs and they're curing them and taking them up. But when you looked on his dry goods upstairs, all those beautiful packages of local this, local that, expensive salt. None of that was in the kitchen, right, Jamie?
None of it was in the kitchen.
We were shocked. I'm like...
And organic. Not as much local, there was a lot of organic.
A lot of organic upstairs, right? But in the kitchen, like upstairs is beautiful organic eggs and everything. Downstairs, you saw on the chalkboard how they get bids to buy eggs every week from 2 or 3 different vendors.
And
really?
The big guys.
From the big guys. So he's buying from U.S. Foods, which is one of the biggest wholesalers out there, U.S. Foods and Sysco, which are trying to merge. One of them acquired the other one. They're trying to become this huge distribution company, which both of them are enormous right now. So the eggs they buy on bid, the eggs upstairs are not using. They had organic oats upstairs. They're using Quaker oats downstairs. They had all these organic grains upstairs. They're using regular grains upstairs. They had organic sugar upstairs. They're using Domino's sugar downstairs, regular run-of-the-mill Domino's sugar. So it was a vast contrast. Now, if one person were to walk in there and say, oh, look at all this stuff, and the guy knows where all this is coming from, you'd feel good about buying his baked goods or his food, because it was also a restaurant too. You'd feel good about buying a lot of this stuff, when in reality, all that stuff upstairs is just show. It's a total show, and it was just, I found it very misleading, didn't you, Jamie?
I sure did.
And if I was a local who was going in there and I was the one to find that out, I'd be like, this guy's scamming me. That would be my first impression, is this guy's scamming me. So he talked about knowing where all the ingredients came from, right, Jamie, about knowing everything. So I asked him, I said, well, how do you deal with a lot of the commodity items? He goes, oh, we buy local stuff too. I said, so what do you do for salt? And he goes, oh, we buy kosher salt. And I said, well, why aren't you buying the Utah Flats salt? It's the next state over. It's the most local salt you're going to get, and it's one of the best salts in the world. And he knew nothing about it. Nothing about it. And what was the other ingredient I mentioned to him? Like sugar. You know, it was like, of course you can't buy local sugar, but we know where our palm sugar comes from, because it comes from Big Tree Farms in Bali, and we've met Blair many times. She's been to our restaurant. So we have a direct connection with a lot of the people that we buy from. So the salt that we buy, we know the people who own the mine in the Utah Flats, real salt, the Redmond real salt. We've met the mine owners before, okay? When you're buying Himalayan salt, you're buying salt that comes from 27 different mines, possibly, because 27 different companies are in there mining salt in the Himalayas in Pakistan. So, but he was talking, oh, we use kosher salt. There's not, they were using Diamond brand kosher salt. That's a massive big company, Diamond kosher salt. And it's just like, here's a guy who's just up there talking away and knows where, again, it says where this farm to table scam comes in. These guys get up there, they talk about 5, 10, 15 ingredients they're using. And everything else, down the drain. It's just history from there. Let's just buy the cheapest products we can. Let's just put up this front. I'm not accusing him of anything. I'm just telling you my impression, my personal opinion of how I would feel if I was walking in there as a regular customer and I was buying the stuff upstairs, like the baked goods upstairs, thinking that, oh, the same oats that are sitting on that shelf over there, the same eggs that are in the cooler over there, the same organic cream and milk that's sitting in the coolers that I can buy and take home is the same stuff that's going to the products that I'm buying there. And that did not appear to be the case at all. So I have many videos on this farm to table scam that's going on. I think it's a total scam because these guys are just emphasizing these few products that they're buying. And and then they forget about the bar. So behind his bar, Jamie, he did a sort of a better job than most places.
I did not actually look at the bar.
But still, he had a lot of big brands like Johnny Walker, who's owned by Diageo, who owns 200, 300 brands of stuff. What Diageo is famous for is they go in and buy companies. They buy people like Johnny Walker. Then they shut the plant down and move the production to a big facility where they can lay off hundreds and hundreds of people and forget about the whole infrastructure of an independent distillery, an independent brewery, or independent whatever winery. So that's what they think these guys specialize. Budweiser's famous for it. InBev, Anheuser-Busch, Budweiser. They're famous for that. Rolling Rock, they shut it down. They do this with a lot of the companies they buy because they're only interested in the brand. So if you're a farm-to-table restaurant, a farm-to-table chef, and you're sitting there preaching how you're buying local kale and local pigs and local beef from right down the road and then turn around and you're part of the problem of these big multinational conglomerates that are going and destroying communities, shame on you. If you're going to talk the talk, you better walk the walk. You better play the game fair across the board with everybody, because I feel it's very, very misleading. It's manipulating. And you have no right to be standing up on a pedestal saying you're farm to table. You have no right to be saying that, oh, we support local, we support independent, and you're turning around and buying Pepsi and Coke, and you're buying Absolute Vodka and Grey Goose and all that kind of stuff. You have no right. It infuriates me just to think this. So it's just an experience we had while we were away. We had a phenomenal trip, did a lot of hiking, did a lot of running. Jamie and I did some high elevation running, right, Jamie?
We sure did.
Up at 8,000 feet, almost 9,000 feet, we were running. We did about 2 different days. We did about 15 miles between aggressively hiking up and doing some running. So we had a great trip. So that was just one of my experiences. Farm to table scam continues. I'm Chef Marcus Giuliano. Thanks for watching. If you like my videos, please hit like, subscribe to my channel, and share this.